As a lady, first of all, as a lady, being a lady is a superpower. It's not easy to be a lady. You can multitask, do a lot of things, and that is fantastic. So if somebody should next ask you, what is your superpower? Tell them that I'm a lady. And being a lady or being a woman is a superpower. Please, what did I say? Being a woman is a superpower. Fantastic. And the other thing is that there are certain things that I can do that you cannot do, and there are certain things that you can do that I cannot do. But together, we can make great things happen. And that is the essence of coming together. So as Lapag members, let us always communicate and come together. If the projection was done, you would have seen, as part of the report, the executives. Please, who are the executives here? Executives. Please stand up. Executives who are. Please clap for them. Clap for them. It's not easy. Oh, I didn't get a lot of. I have project coordinators who are sitting down. Please clap for them. It's not easy. It's not a job that you are paid for. But then to be able to sacrifice time and all that to do that, we really appreciate you. Nancy, I see you. Sarah, I see you. Thank you. Yes, so that's the report. I also have former lady chairpersons in our midst. And it's not always easy to have some of them. So I have Nana that I took over from. Nana, please everybody, Auntie Nana. That's a famous Auntie Nana. The famous Auntie Nana, yes. She's always the Lapag chair before me. There's Auntie Yvonne. Yes, yes, the former Auntie Yvonne. Yeah, there are so many Yvonnes, but the Auntie Yvonne, yeah, she's the Auntie Yvonne, yes. So please check yourself. Yes, so the executives, yes. So that's me there as chairperson. That's our vice chairperson. Please keep scrolling. That's Farida, the secretary. That's Helena, the treasurer. We've shared the names on the platform. So if you haven't seen them, that's their picture. I'm sure with time, we'll meet a lot more of them. That's Sarah. Sarah stood up. Yes. Please clap for Sarah. She's very supportive. She's a fantastic person. She works, in the background, but she's an administrator, and she helps us on our mental health project. This year, we did something on anxiety, a CPD on anxiety. I was hoping that we'll have something on depression and schizophrenia. Okay, we'll come next year. Just pray for us. I think you skipped somebody else. There's Vera, who is a national executive, yes, an executive member. Please go forward. You can move. Yes, please. Adjoa Penny. Is Adjoa Penny here? I saw her during the AGM. She's our person who helps us with Lapag against cancers. So we've had a program already on cervical cancer. We are going to be doing certain things on breast cancer. Please, Auntie Martha is coming. The only Auntie Martha in pharmacy. Please clap for her. Yes, we'll introduce her very soon. Yes, please. That's Nancy, executive member. She stood up. Nancy is in the corner there. Nancy, yes, she's the one leading the Lapag and vocational skills or versatile lady pharmacist. Please move further. Yes, Miriam. So she is an executive member and also a project lead for menstrual hygiene. And it's one of the things that we are working very hard on. It's interesting the kind of reports that we've had. One of the reports that we had was that I think the Upper West, there are women who exchange sex for certain basic things like food, like sanitary pad. And in the process, some of them get HIV, some of them destroy homes, some of them, have to fend for themselves and all of that. So one of the things that we are doing as Lapag, because our mandate, our motto, who knows our motto? Who knows our motto as Lapag? Oh, nobody knows our motto. Hey, but we've been sharing it on the platform. Service in health development, yes. Service in health development, yes. If you don't know, that is it. And we take care of women and children. So as part of it, one of the projects is to be able to support women and children. Please move further. Okay, so some of these people are regional coordinators. I would skip us through. We've sent some of the names. Please move forward. Move forward, yes. Regional coordinators. If you're in the regions, please get to know your regional coordinators so that when you have issues, welfare issues and all that, we can get to know. Lapag takes care of every member in the country, and sometimes it's very difficult to know everybody and everybody in the region. So please get to know your regional coordinator. If you're in Upper East, be on the platform, know your regional coordinator, Northern Region, Savannah. If you are in, okay, now we have the 10. If you are in Takrade, Western Region, if you are in Volta, Greater Accra, know your coordinator so you can inform us about what is going on. so that we can support you accordingly. We've realized that sometimes people will ask, oh, why is that some ladies don't want to join Lapag? And then I don't know the answer, but maybe it's because some people don't feel the connection, or please, can I get a reason? I want it to be interactive. Is there a reason why people don't want to join Lapag? Yes, please. Please mention your name, your number, and then why you think people.
Please, my name is Sewao Pokumensa, HPA 5008. I think the reason is that sometimes the platform, for example, I just asked my friends, they are from different regions. None of them are on the platform. I asked why. It's not accessible. I've actually personally asked someone to put me on the platform. So today, I mean, like 2 months ago, but it's not.
Thank you so much for the feedback. So because of that, we actually increased the administrators. A lot of executives now are administrators. So I'm going to mention my number, even though I don't do that, my contact number, so that we don't give the link because we don't want non-pharmacists to join the platform. So we usually want to verify the persons. So even in Greater Accra, that's what we're doing. So you tell us who you are, and we usually want your classmates adding you so that they are sure you're a pharmacist. We don't want non-pharmacists joining, because a private group, you are bougie girls, women, yes. So let me give you my number. If you are here, you are not on the platform, you want to join, just take my number, send me a WhatsApp, and then with your details and all that, and I'll add you to the platform. My number is 0262 894951. I repeat. No, it's not. It's not on YouTube. This part is private. The panel discussion will be on YouTube. This is a private conversation. 0262 894951. But I'm not afraid if it goes on YouTube. I'm married, so I'm off the market. I'll see whether they'll send Momo. If they'll send Momo, I'll talk to them. If they don't send Momo, then I'll block them. Yes, so we are moving ahead with the report. Sorry, is there any other reason why people don't connect, to Lapag? Is there any other reason apart from, access to the platform? Any other reason? Okay, so it means everybody's on the platform. There's the feedback here.
Thank you very much. I think for me, for once, I realized, I think the COVID break kind of disrupted a lot of things. For me, I got interested in Lapag based on the kind of activities my coordinator was organizing around the time. So I was a student then, D6, during my our final year in the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, but she was involving us in a lot of things. So by the time we left school, we were already interested in Lapag. But then because of the COVID break and everything, we're not doing a lot of outreaches, we're not doing a lot of those outings that we're doing. So I realized the interest of the students were low. Another problem I figured was, I'm in Central Region, okay, and then when we meet the D6 students and then the house officers, they feel like they will leave the region very soon, or they are not really there. So when they go to wherever they are going to, they will join. So it kind of diminishes their interest in maybe joining the Central Region to do something, because in essence, they feel like they will not be there for a long time. They're not really in that region.
Thank you so much for the feedback. So 2 things I note is that we should increase the activities. During our next time, we started engaging Lapag, which is the students' wing, and we are having a lot of collaboration with them. So we'll continue the programs, the activities, so that we can continue the engagement. The second part is that some people feel like they may not be in the region. Okay, that's a good point. I think that you should encourage them that they should join. There are general platforms. I think there's Lapag 1, 2, and 3. There's a main Lapag, and there's 1, 2, and 3. So they can join any, so that wherever you are, when there's information about a program, a project, anything, you are aware of it. Because if you are not aware, then you are sort of cut off. Then you don't know what is going on. Meanwhile, there's exciting things that you can learn. So, we've taken the feedback. Sarah, please record the feedback for me so that we work on it. Is any other feedback on how we can work on improving engagements with Lapag members? Any other? Or we are fine? On a scale of 1 to 10, are we doing well? We are not doing well. What else can we do, please? Show us the way.
I'm wondering whether we can change our AGM meeting time. Like the Fridays is not favorable.
Okay, thank you so much. If Yah is here, we'll have that conversation. It's come up a couple of times, but I think you realize that the other days are also very packed. but we'll have a conversation around it. So what day will you suggest? A Wednesday? Because that's the opening ceremony. Okay. We'll give the AGM Planning Committee feedback. Thank you.
I believe that people don't actually know what Lapag is about. My number is 1383. Oh, my friend, get away. Get out. So my name is Susan, and my number is 1383. I think that people don't actually know what Lapag is about. And because they don't know what it's about, they just feel, why have these women, just isolated themselves and what it's a women's group. We need to get the general population to understand, both the women and the men. Because the men think, what is this woman doing? And when you walk with a man who is like, what are you going to do? And a lot of our girls come in and they are working with their fellow men. They will not encourage you to come for a Lapag meeting. I tell you. They are very discouraged. Oh, there's nothing. Then Lapag, and they do it. I've been young before, if you believe that. And they are very discouraged. They are like, oh, you can do for baby, then Lapag. We are all pharmacists. Why is it? And so we need to get that understanding across board, both for the ladies and the men in the society, PSG as a whole. And every time, market ourselves to all of them. So there's something said, oh, Lapag, and we welcome the men to this, and this is that, and that is that, and that, and that. And when they feel part of it, when you say you're going for Lapag meeting, he himself will say, he will come along with you. So I think we need to do a lot of that so that, they are encouraged to come even from outside forces. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. So an understanding of what Lapag is for, so that we can encourage more members. I think that we would work on it. Nana, I know we are working on our history. We would work on a few things to see how we can better engage. But I think for me, why Lapag is very important is that I pray sisterhood on every other person, because sometimes you can be in this world, it looks very big, but you can be very alone. And you need sisters who have your same body parts to understand what you are going through, or to even be there to say that it's okay, you'll be fine, it's a phase in your life. And that one alone is enough to be part of Lapag. So please, sisterhood, join. Thank you. Yes, madam.
My name is Nanaya, 1623. Okay, so I think the issue about the Lapag, in terms of the engagement or lack thereof, is the automaticity of it all. What I mean by that is, once you're a woman, you are Lapag. But I think we should be a bit more intentional. So it's not like you are Lapag because you are a woman, but you are a Lapag because you are a woman and you want to make impact. I think we should be very intentional about it.
Thank you so much. So being part of Lapag is not just about being a woman, it's also about being a woman and then making an impact. And that's why we have several programs and projects that are targeted at what we can do as a group of women who are powerful, who even have that advantage. Because when I tell people that, oh, there are women that are sleeping with other people for parts, who are like, hey, really? You don't know what it means, like, not to know where your next meal is coming from. To be part of a profession, to be able to say that I'm a pharmacist, to be a woman, and to create a certain impact that will benefit generations beyond you is powerful, and we shouldn't take it for granted. Is there any other feedback on how we can engage members properly or effectively? Okay, so, I mean, rating right now, you're saying that Lapag, we are 5, 10, 8, 6, any numbers? We can do 6, we can do better. Okay, next year is coming. Okay, we'll work on it. Okay, so back to the report. With membership, I know that now we stand, I think, about 1,300 ladies. I think we are growing gradually to about 1,500, which is good because, I mean, those who have the numbers 1,000 and then below will tell you that in their class, there used to be maybe 10, 20 ladies. So now that the numbers are increasing, this is good for us, more ladies in the sisterhood. And we've had inauguration as part of the report. I'll circulate the report on the platform. so that you can have access to it. And then we had certain proposed programs for the year. So in January, we usually visit some of our honorable members. The lady pharmacists who are a bit older, we try and visit a lot of them earlier parts of the year. So we would be sharing, information whenever we are going. So whenever you are in the regions and then we say that we are visiting this lady, or even usually there are lots of them are in Greater Accra, Ashanti, and Central. But whenever you hear about it, please do well to be part of it. In February, we looked at an education advocacy against female genital mutilation. Our understanding was that a lot of it is now a thing of the past. But I think we'll work on feedback. And then the photographer is taking a picture, so I was posing, sorry. So we would get maybe studies done to find out whether mutilation is a thing of the past or now people are hiding it because of what society would say. Childhood marriages has come up. It's something that we are working on. And we usually look for project and program coordinators. So there are people that are part of us now that they were not elected for, by the General Assembly, but they are helping us. So if you have that interest, I want to help Lapag on a certain project or program, please let me know. I've given you my number. Please send me a message and let's work on it because there's so much we can do. And I always say that it is painful that when you have the opportunity to make an impact, that when you don't do it, and then 30, 20 years from now, you look back and you're like, oh, if only I had done this, the ripple effect of what it would do, maybe some lady would, God forbid, have HIV and end up with your son or something, but if you had done something about it, it won't happen, something like that. So forgive me for the terrible example, but that's what I had in mind. In March, we looked at International Women's Day. We couldn't celebrate it very well this year. Next year, we'll look at how we can do it properly. In March, April, during Easter, we usually do Kwewu. We would send a survey out because we usually used to go on Saturdays, but we were getting feedback that the Saturday is not convenient for some of the members. Some members wanted Friday so that they could spend the weekend with their family. So we'll send a survey across the platform to find out which day is suitable, and then we'll organize it. So since COVID is going and all that, even with Merbeg and everything, we'll still want to party. And usually it's exciting. When we come together, we have good food shared for breakfast when we get there. Then we go across, the places that are crowded to go and talk to people about, reproductive health, preventing STIs and all of that. We share condoms. We interact with people. We take pictures. We go to some fun places. Like I think there was one time we did a hike, a walk, a canopy walkway and all of that. And then we come back and eat some more. Very good food. Food is good. Food is good, so we usually enjoy it. So if you hear that we are going to Kwewu, please come and then let us enjoy. I think this time we will probably even be hosted, so those who want to sleep over and have the Kwewu experience, we will have something worked out for you. May is Menstrual Hygiene Month. That's when we go and mentor young ladies, educate them, and donate to them menstrual hygiene products like the sanitary pads, and we'll continue to do that. June, mental health. This year we did something on anxiety. Next year, it promises to be bigger and better. Sarah, am I lying? Grace, bigger and better. Okay, so we look forward to it. And then there are other things that it's in the report. There's July, there's August, September, October. November, we would have a small discussion about it. We are thinking of bringing back an anniversary so that we can enjoy a bit, raise a bit of funds to support our other programs. So we'll have a conversation about that. One of the things that I also want us to discuss is welfare. So you realize that, yes, in the programs, we've had enhanced welfare, but a lot of it looks more at, let's say, the death of a dependent or the death of the pharmacist, God forbid, something like that. But we are looking at sometimes supporting ladies when they get married, because that's not covered. When they have children up to a certain number. We're still developing the constitution and we'll share it for feedback. But sometimes we have that constraint because we have a lot of programs and projects we are running, and then we still need to be able to support you for welfare. I know 2 AGMs ago, we agreed on welfare of 120 for the whole year. We haven't been able to get enough collection. Please, can people give me feedback on why you are not paying? Please, I want to know. Please, why are you not paying the welfare? But when it's time to get, the funds. People will reach out to us, and if you don't support them, then it's a bit some way. Why are you not paying, please? Yes. Yeah, you can. So we usually let the treasurer collect it. We send, information across the platform so that it's sent to the treasurer, so we can keep it together in an account, and then whenever a member needs it, we can disperse the member. Is there a reason? So I'm getting feedback that people don't know about it. So we should intensify the education about the welfare. Is that the only reason? The 120 is too small. It's chicken change. You want to do 1 million, but 120. That's why you're not paying. So maybe any other reason, or the 120 is too much. Any feedback? Okay. Mr. President, please, I see you, I greet you, Mr. President. Yes, patron, and we have the men around. We have the men. Can you see the men? Please, the men, please wave us. The men that, please, thank you so much. Mr. President, please, you can come and sit. Yes, please. Thank you so much. Mr. President will speak to us. He usually speaks to us when we are together for Lapag. So the welfare means that we are agreeing to the 120. We just have to intensify education. And then ladies here would pay. Is that okay? 120 cedis for the whole year, 10 cedis a month. Is that okay? 10 cedis a month. Yes.
Madam Chair, please, how is it to be collected? I think that is one of the difficulties here.
Okay, thank you. So when we advertised on the platform, we asked the treasurer to collect it. What we want to do is we want to set up an account. You can either send it directly to the account. We'll try and see whether we can get a short code or something that can be used with the collection, or you can even send it by mobile money to the treasurer, so that we can collect it. So she'll put in the account, and then we'll, please, your hand up. Okay, so we'll set up an account, but as of now, the treasurer, you can send it to the treasurer. We'll send more details of the treasurer's mobile money account so that you can, please, Shakira wanted to say something.
My name is Shakira Aziz. So since the president is here, I want to suggest if it's possible to add it to the PSGH dues so that at the end of the year, they can deduct it.
I didn't hear what you.
Please, can we know the benefits? Because PSGH is charging us 50 Ghana. I don't know why we are being charged 120. My number is 1302.
Thank you so much. So, Shakira, I didn't hear yours, but the benefits are that PSGH focuses more on the death of a dependent or the pharmacist. So what we wanted to cover are the weddings, and then the outdoorings, and then sometimes there are other suggestions, there are other celebrations that we need to be able to celebrate people. Like we had a pharmacist who turned 100. Did you hear about it? 100 years. Yes, we have to celebrate people like that. 80 years, a founding member. So it's important for us to celebrate some of these people, and if we don't have money, okay, then it becomes difficult. Check it out. Okay, there's a suggestion that we should add it to the dues. The difficulty is that then we shall raise our motion during business session 2 to have AGM agree to it. And already people are complaining about the 800 cedis. Are you sure if we add it? Because this one you can pay 10 cedis a month, or every month 10 cedis. Isn't it better than paying 120 when you're going to register? What do you think? Okay. So now I will speak, yes.
Okay. All right. For the welfare, we sent the welfare regulations out. You realize that hitherto what we agreed to do in 2019, and for us, women, marriage was like how much? 200 cedis or 300 cedis. Outdooring was 100 cedis or something. And that was because our source of income was just the dues that we paid to PSGH, that PSGH gave back to us, which is also done based on our numbers and all that. So at the end of the day, literally in a year, we were getting just about 35,000 cedis the whole year for everything that Lapag does. And, and truly that was not sustainable. Because a lot of the things, when the account is ready, you will see, a lot of the things that we do, we have to self-generate the money. And we felt that at some point, we can't always come every time. Even if it's 10 cedis that we are asking every single time, it wasn't going to be feasible. So rather, let us increase and augment what PSGH gave us so we could actually look after ourselves. If the welfare regulations, I don't know if it can be reshared again, but that 300 cedis or something was agreed to go to that 300 cedis to 1,000. And if I'm giving 1,000, you and I know now we have more younger people than older ladies. More ladies who are going to marry, give birth, than the older ladies. And so we have to come to some agreement. And then the new projects that we've taken on, menstrual hygiene, etc., those things also are capital intensive. If we actually want to do and then get what our motto says, if we want that health development and for it to also go and for us to be projected, then that's why we had to do that 120. But we cannot add it to the PSGH dues.
Please, is that okay? So that you can pay 10 cedis every month instead of paying 120 cedis when you are going to register. And then it means that we've also enhanced the welfare package so that you can get more when you get married. We can come and support you. We can even give transport to your friends so that they come and support you. See Lapag in our cloth. When you have a baby, we'll come and we are doing woo, woo, and it's nice, you know. So support us. You said, how will the money, there's a comment, how will the money be collected? Through the treasurer. So the treasurer will take the money, will send her mobile money number across again so that it's easier. We would also create an account so that that money can be in an account so that whenever it's needed, we don't add it to our project's money so that we get confused, but it will be there ring fence so that anytime a member needs it, and usually it goes to the regional coordinators. That's why it's important that your regional coordinator should get to know you so that whenever there's any way we can support you, you're able to do that. Because if your regional coordinator doesn't know, then it's difficult for us to also know what is happening to you. And you might feel like, oh, I got my Lapag. You didn't invite us. Invite us, support us. I will come and do the woo-woo for you, okay? So is that all? Any other comments? There's a hand up, okay.
Hello. I'm Sister Mary Veronica Ponsa, 1624. Some of us, we are really not motivated to pay the dues because it seems there's really nothing for us. So if there's a way of, creating something which will also benefit us, then we'll be prepared to pay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So in the Constitution, we are reviewing our Constitution. There's a team in place that's reviewing the Constitution. In the Constitution review, we're also reviewing the welfare. And we want to see what we can do to support you. So you'll be better placed to tell us. If there's a certain celebration, maybe 10 years in service, 25 years, or something that we can do to also support you, let us know. So I will add it to it, so that when it's time to support you, we'll come and do the woo-woo for you. This one is, yes. Okay, sure, thank you. So, however we can meet you because we want people to be engaged. So for some people, it is when you come for my wedding that I feel like I'm part of Lapag. So let us know. We won't come and do 100 CDs. We want to come well. So that when they say, oh, the Lapag people are coming, give them the VIP, let them eat. Because you know that we have come. And now when we have come, you see. So we'll do it well. Yes, please. Any other comments? We are okay. I think it's about 4:10, so I'll just rush through. I'll send the reports on the platform. I've sent my number out. You can give me feedback. Tell me how I can serve you properly. That's my job. My job is to serve. It's not to come and chop posts. It's to come and serve you. And sometimes, even when the baby is crying, I'm in meetings doing Lapag things and all of that. So tell me I can serve you. There are general meetings. We've mentioned that programs and projects. We did breast cancer awareness. We partnered with some hospitals and then some organizations. We also partnered with Lapag last year to do some breast cancer awareness. It's in the report. Please, you can show it. I'll send the reports onto the platform. We did a CPD on cervical cancer. We did education on our platform. We revamped our social media platform. So YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah, it's not Twitter, it's Twitter. Our Twitter platform. We revamped it and all of that. Now you are hearing about Lapag, and then people are asking, hey, who is Lapag? We are coming up with a website. Now the things I want to do, when you say that you are part of Lapag, like people think that you are working the first ladies or something like that. That's how we want to brand Lapag. So please stay tuned. We also partnered with Oncology Pharmacists Association of Ghana, OPAG, to have the CPD, where we had a perspective of the doctor, the pharmacist, and the nurse. We are looking also collaborating with M-Pharma to do screening, cervical cancer screening for all lady pharmacists. We are looking at how we can absorb the cost so that it will be free. The other concern is that when you are done with the cervical cancer test and you are negative, how do we get the vaccine for you? Because the two companies that have the vaccines are not available in the country now, MSD and then GSK. So that's a challenge. We are working on that. If we're able to finalize, then we'll do the screening for everybody. If you are negative, you get vaccinated so that we are sure that we are eliminating cervical cancer. We don't want any Lapa person coming to say that, oh, God forbid, I have cervical cancer. No, we need to protect the throne, and do whatever we can do for the throne. Yes, please. So on that CPD, we had over 500 pharmacists. It was exciting. Please, are you showing my report? No? Okay, I'll send it on the platform. International Women's Day, we also celebrated, we have partnered with Lapag. I think currently we have Lapag in Central University. Legon is coming up now. We have their patron, we have their coordinator. We had a program with them during EcoBank's program with the Vestal Lady Pharmacists, where we got a lot of the final year students to come. And so we're going to do the same for entrance. We've also had a program with Cape Coast. Central University, we've been working with UCCS. And even UDS and other places, yes, we are set up. So in all the pharmacy schools, we'll have Lapag and we'll be able to work with the various schools so that by the time you get out of school, you are sure of what Lapag stands for and you are more than excited to join. Farida Sewa Brobe, who is our secretary, has an NGO that we partner with to do some education for over 300 SHS ladies on endometriosis. It's also another challenge that's coming up. And want to make sure that people are informed about it. One of the things that projects our image is the fact that we're able to communicate, give information, educate people about certain disease conditions, and to also be able to navigate them. So that if you see this, you see us, we know who you should go and see. That one alone shortens people's chances of having any challenges. We also partner with Ask Your Pharmacist. We've done some collaborations with them. We had lady pharmacists look at side effects and off-label uses of drugs and other things, other programs that we actually did with them. Mental health, like I mentioned, we did something on anxiety. We had a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a clinical psychologist, and a pharmacist. The pharmacist is here, Madam Grace. Is she around? Okay, Grace, yes, Madam Grace is there. Yes. It's important that we know colleagues who are in the space. So that as a lady, if you think that you are doubting yourself, you have any challenges, you are not happy, you feel like you are getting depressed, please speak to me. Send me a message. I'll send you Auntie Grace's number so that we can speak to you. We don't want ladies to commit suicide. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that ladies are depressed, they want to kill themselves, they want to run away. No. Whatever your challenges are, come, let's talk about it. If it is money, we'll put your picture up and then do fundraising for you to support you. On this note, I feel like putting my picture up so that you can support. Yes, please. And menstrual hygiene, we actually this year were able to donate and support several schools that were deprived in some communities. So we did Greater Accra. We did a school called Mexico in Tema. Is it Mexico? Mexico, yes. And then, there was a touching story there. I remember that as we had given the parts to the ladies and were celebrating with them, one lady went to the side with her friends and she was saying that, as for this part that they've given me, I'll keep it till when I'm writing BEC because the other days I can just use zero and stay at home. But this part, when I'm going to write BEC, that one, I have to come. So this one part that they've given me, and it was a very touching story. Hearing how she was explaining how because of menstruation she would not be able to come to school, and the fact that we had given her the pad had given her hope to be able to write BC. So just imagine. So your contribution is saving people. You have no idea. People that are praying for you are saying thank you, but you have no idea. It's plenty. So I think we should continue that. We did that in Kumasi, in Bomso, we did Upper West, we did Sunyane, we did Northern Region, we did Cape Coast, and we are planning to do even more. So please do support us. So the pictures are also there. When I send the report, you see it. I was hoping that they put project. Please, those who are projects, are you doing concern? Please project my thing for me. Yes, please. Okay. And then the CPDs, I've mentioned them already. The mentorship, it's ongoing. If you speak to me that you are interested in a certain field of pharmacy, we'll be able to connect you, even in things that are non-pharmacy related. So we would have panel persons who are doing other things. If they finish doing it and you think that you want to learn a trade in beading, in hair, in anything that's your passion on the side, we are not saying stop doing pharmacy, do pharmacy. But on the side, if you want to do something, there are people that you can engage so that they see how they would be able to help you. We've spoken about social media, and there's so much, details in the report. I'll send on the platform so that you can refer to. I was hoping that, okay, they are projecting, so that's the Lapag menstrual hygiene. Yes, please. So I think I've been able to give an overview. If you have any questions, I can take them before I sit down. Any questions? Everybody is fine. It was a fantastic. Did I convince you or confuse you? Fantastic. Thank you so much. I'll hand over to my MC. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pam Lucia. Okay.
Thank you very much. This has been a very inspiring report. Impact is palpable. More grease to your elbows. But I was wondering, the source of income is our dues. And the dues is 50 cedis per person, correct? 30 cedis. And so in terms of projection, you're looking about at how many people? Like 2,000? 2,000. And PSGA gives you the money on time, twice a year. So how are you able to achieve all of this? I know that not all the women who will pay will come, but if PSGH will collect 800 cedis next year, what can 30 cedis do per person in terms of your plans as Lapag for next year? Or you are bringing money, you have money?
No, we don't have money. Okay, so just to answer that, I'm doing this on behalf of our treasurer, unfortunately, who has been bereaved, and so she couldn't join us. It's just to give a highlight of our accounts. So yes, like Nanaya said, the money that came from PSGH from the period September 2021 to July 2022 is a total of 27,283 cedis, 95 pesos. And we did get some Hello? Okay. We did get some sponsorship from should I say all-time continuous sponsorship from two pharmaceutical companies, one of which is our owned Unicom Chemist by lady pharmacist Mrs. Patience Chega. She always graciously gives us when we go to her. And that income sponsorship came to 4,000. And so as that period, our money that had as income was 31,283 cedis, 95 pesos. However, we had other things that we did, which for specific projects. So if you are on the various platforms, you saw that when we were doing the menstrual hygiene, we came asking for some people to help, ladies to help us. So, and then we also go to other sponsors to get support. But those are specific driven. And for that income, for the menstrual hygiene, our income that came from the donations from members was 8,940 cedis. When Madam Chair was speaking, Madam Chair talked about 100-year-old lady pharmacist, Mrs. Rosina Konya, who would be, there's a program on GTV today. Unfortunately, it is during dinner, but we just got the information that there's a program on GTV today at 8:15, and they would be speaking with her and her other friend, who is Mrs. Elsie Soa. So they are the two oldest lady pharmacists we have in Ghana living. Mrs. Rosina Konya is 100. Mrs. Elsie Soa is 99. She'll be 100 next year. So the GTV program. And for Mrs. Konya's birthday celebration, that also was not taken from the income that we get from PSGH. That was also a specific activity, which I must say that the previous, all former executives of Lapag, members, decided to do that activity. And so they came up and then were able to do that activity for her, and that gave us 3,610. And then we had another activity which was also specific, and that was to celebrate the 80th birthday of our first founding chairperson, Mrs. Enitin Gavu. So, which was in December. Mrs. Konya's birthday was in January, and then Mrs. Gavu's birthday was in December. And that again, former national executives, any former Lapag executive member also was asked and approached, and they rose to that occasion. And so that is why those events, even though we had money generated, we didn't touch what PSGH gave us, because we know that that is small. And especially when we look at the welfare that we have to do, that also doesn't really kind of meet up. So those are why there are other plans, and like Madam Chair said, we are trying to look at those. So as at September 2021, for the year of the accounts, we had in our bank accounts 37,132 cedis, 88 pesos. And then we had the 31,283 cedis, 95 pesos added from the two allotments that PSGH gave us, and then the sponsorship that we got. However, our expenditure for welfare, primarily this year, the monies that we took from our accounts was just for welfare purposes, which was weddings, funerals, and outdoorings. The total was 33,700 cedis. So you see that when we have to touch anything that PSGH gives us, we can't do anything else. And so that is why we want to stop using that money for the welfare and look at how we can do the welfare. And then the COT charges on our bank account was 70 cedis, 40 pesos. So as at July 2022, our balance in the bank is 34,646 cedis, 43 pesos. But our expenditure is 60,000. Our expenditure is 60,702 cedis, 88 pesos in that same period, because we were able to raise money on the side to do the other expenditures that we have to. And on that note, I'd want to say that we really appreciate, one thing I have come to realize is that when we come to us, we really stand out and then do the things that matter for Lapag and for Ghana. And for that, the current executives are really grateful. However, we need to look at a more financially sustaining plan to ensure that all the beautiful things that Madam Chair and her team has, we can do. Because as for that 30 cedis there, it is not helping anybody to do anything. Thank you very much. Please, does anybody have any question? And I'll try and see if I can answer. Other than that, then I'll call Madam Treasurer and then I'll give a response. But please, if anybody has, I mean, if you have ways you'd also want us to see how we can also get funds, that is fine. Yes, ma. Auntie Pat. Yes. Oh, no problem.
Hello. Yes, I just want to know what bank we are using. Ghana Commercial Bank. There are some banks that don't charge COT, so we can look at that. And then also we can put our money in maybe fixed deposit, or we open a call account where some of the money will be earning something whilst it's lying with the bank, and then that will benefit us. Also, if we can make our dues a bit higher.
Yes, ma. So thank you very much. In fact, it was one of the recommendations I gave to the income chair. We initially, our account was not in GCB. Our account was in UT. And then when the financial issues came, we were offloaded to GCB. So it was one of the recommendations I made, that we should try and see if we can move out of GCB. I mean, now we have banks that are women focused and women oriented, so that you can see how those banks can actually sort of help us. And I'm sure that was on that premise, that's why we had the EcoBank Elevate program. So yes, thank you very much. Please, is there any other question? And then as for the increase in the dues, that one Madam Chair will address.
That's where I was coming to. I was going to say that this is your AGM. And so it's a nice opportunity for us to judge and then decide. I think it's about time we increase it. Yeah. So if you have it on your agenda, then that's it. Thank you.
Please, on the increasing the dues.
Yes.
It's a little complicated because we would need PSGH AGM to be able to increase dues. And then there was a time where women were paying a little more than the men. And then there were issues with the collection and the implementation. So we decided that, we would pay the same, and then they will still find a way of giving us 30 cedis of the amount of money. So I'm not sure we can just agree here. Or AGM is one of the highest, so if you believe that we can always rewrite the laws. If you increase the 120 or
So, Auntie Jocelyn, please, if I may, aside the 30 cedis, there is the 120 cedis.
Which is for welfare.
Which one do you want us to increase? The 120, okay. Not the one that goes, okay.
Or give people the option to pay more.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that we'll peg it at 120, and then if you can pay more, we'll be grateful, so that we can, because I'm sure the younger ones, if it's more than 10 cedis a month, it's 10 cedis the whole month. Oh, when you take your thousands of 10 cedis the whole month.
I'm sure they can do 20. I'm very sure they can.
So, thank you very much. And then on that note, I yield the mic back to Madam Chair. Thank you. Oh, sorry, Auntie Martha, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. My recommendation, I think there have been some very useful suggestions as to how we could do with the accounts, because we could earn money. But at this meeting too, there's nothing wrong if we do Kofi Niyama. You see the points? You see the points? So, Kofi Niyama, oh, you don't know Kofi Niyama? Kofi Anama. And then we have silver collection. Is it? So we can use that to Anamibwa. So I was thinking that let's just try it and see. Let's get a bowl and see how it goes. You may never can tell. Somebody could give us 1,000, somebody could give us 5,000. You may never know. And somebody can also give 10 cedis. It's okay. It's okay.
Thank you.
Please clap, please.
Some music for Kofi.
Mr. DJ, can you give us some music? Anybody with a bowl? A suggestion that we should get some seed money. What do you think? You agree? When all the men are here, we should do the contribution. Hey, the men. This is my bag. Anybody with a bag? DJ, some music. Auntie Martha, oh, the mothers are always fantastic. The mothers, they have water, they have politics, they have spoon for the mothers. Thank you so much. So a little contribution. Mr. DJ, the music, please hurry up. Please hurry up. Anybody with a good voice to sing for us? What shall I say unto the Lord? Fire kowe chikaka, fire kowe chikaka. Ahe, unaina. Support more ladies, welfare.
Let's help each other to greet, to connect and learn, to teach and eat and have our voices heard. So join me on the way, on a bus or a plane. We're going all the way to Chamale, Chamale, Kawura. Everybody, let's go to Chamale, Kawura. Let's go to Chamale.
Mobile money is also allowed. So just mobile money. Mobile is allowed.
Let's go to Tamale. Join me on the way to Tamale. We'll see the beautiful side, feel the rich culture.
So you can do 0244 894 951. Just add Lapag to it. 0244 894 951. That's his Fablutius number, but you just add Lapag to it.
Everybody, let's go to Tamale. Join me to Tamale.
Contributions, they will go a long way to helping ourselves and then also the ladies in the deprived communities. So ladies and gentlemen, we've already formally kicked off our event, but it's my pleasure to invite on stage our keynote speaker for this afternoon session. We are privileged to have in our midst a lady pharmacist with over 35 years of experience. She has a Bachelor of Pharmacy and Doctor of Pharmacy degree from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, has other certifications from Leeds University, GIMPA, just to mention a few. She serves on several national and international boards, the Lancet Commissioner on Essential Medicines,
United Nations Interagency Coordinating Group on Antimicrobial Resistance. She's also an expert member of various international organizations such as the WHO and has over 22 publications on various health-related topics. Let's give it up for her. Versatile pharmacist indeed. Our lady pharmacist led Ghana's response to antimicrobial resistance challenge and chairs the antimicrobial resistance platform, being the first female chief pharmacist and director of pharmaceutical services of Ghana and serving under various positions under the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, help me with a round of applause to welcome on stage our keynote speaker for today in the person of Dr. Martha Jansa Lucho. Let's do it better for her.
Thank you very much for those kind words. I actually have been asked to share some of my experiences, but I believe that a lot of us here have a lot more experiences in other areas. And that is why, whilst I take it from the public sector perspective, I am happy that my other colleagues on the panel will be telling you about other things that we could be doing as ladies to help ourselves and to help our families and to help society and communities we live in. The topic I was given is optimizing the pharmaceutical workforce in a rapidly evolving world, the versatile lady pharmacist. I have some 8 slides and I will be quick about them. One is already out. The second one is just the outline, which talks about the theme as we had it. And we try to look at versatility. That's correct English? And then I will talk about new opportunities that never existed in our time, but which is available for us today. And I would talk about career pathways for those who want to do something different, because at this conference I met a few people who are in hospital practice and who are not happy and they wish they could do something else. And I believe that as Lapag, we have a role to play to become a mentor to such people in a way that they can really find their feet and find their levels and fulfill their destinies and what God has called them to become. And then the last bit has to do with what are some of the lessons that I have learned with the past 35 years that I had been in service. And I'll try to see how we can move forward. So the next slide is about the theme we had for this conference. Ladies and gentlemen, or ladies, I think that we have so gentlemen among us. The theme had been very evolving. From the very day that the president spoke, very punchy, gave us all the things that had happened in the year, and also went ahead to preempt what the future for this particular sec is looking like. Thereafter, we have the thematic speaker who, a pharmacist, but went into banking. Versatility, and is that correct? She was versatile enough to move into other areas. And today she's proud to be a pharmacist, she's proud to be a banker, and she still does the things that a woman does. And thereafter we have debates. And the debates are, centered around the areas of regulation, the landmine versus the which one? The gold mine versus the land mine. That was how it went. And I believe that there are take-home points for all of us, especially for those of us who want to
branch into other areas, and that was followed up with the parallel tracks. For me, the parallel tracks, one of them should have been merged. I mean, the number 1 and 2 could have come together because it's all speaking about the same thing. And then the regulatory bit, which incidentally the room was half filled. And it hurt me that a lot of young people that I thought they could make a future with regulation could be there to listen and to know what could be done and what they can also offer to the issues that we are talking about. And thereafter, we went to our practice groups. Gospel had their meeting, the other practice group all had. I believe that all of us here, we are mixed. Some are in gospel and still have their private practice. Some are in purely private practice. Some are in academia. So it means that we took advantage of all the things that happened and what our take-home points will be for us. Then the big one, the YPG, met yesterday. And of course, they were chilling the night before, so they couldn't start their program early. But coming to think of it, they felt that they must have the number of hours allocated to them. And so what did they do? It ate into the community practice. Let's watch this. We have to be a bit disciplined in life. Otherwise, you miss several opportunities. We know we are supposed to come at 8. Of course, the night before was also nice. You know what I mean? And so, if you were late, does not mean that it should affect the other group. And that is one lesson I wanted us to take home, that whatever you will do, the Rotary Club has a 4-way test they do. One of them is it fair to all? You think it is okay with me, but is it fair to the next person? Think about it. But a lot of the times we do that. We want to get our way and get it out of the way quickly. But we forget that sometimes you are stepping on your sister because you want to get to the next level, your next level. In life, it doesn't work like that. In life, the moment you continue to step on other people to get to where you want to get to, what happens is that you are just pulled down like that, and the end is always not good. And so I want to urge us that there are several ways you can go to the top, but the most important is the hard work. Hard work is so important. The last bit of our conference had to do with the one we had yesterday. I am not sure whether you have learned some things. It's about the balance we need in life. As women, I did not vow to become a reverend sister like my sisters. Please, I attended a Catholic school, so please forgive me. They vow not to marry, but they are committed themselves to do things for humanity. Marriage is also a service to God. And you saw what happened. Maybe I want to ask, what will be your take-home point as a woman yesterday from Ebo White? Hello? Some faces are coming to me. I would mention by name if I'm not getting the response I want. Yes. What will be your take-home point? Dr. Susan? Yes, you want to give us a go at it. Somebody give her a microphone, please. Thank you. Are you okay? I can give you mine.
Yes, to cover your husband's shame. I mean,
to cover your husband's shame. Mm-hmm. Yes, any other? Yes, my dear. Somebody at the back, yes.
That communication is key. How we say it and what we say really matters in the marriage.
Thank you. Any other? Yes. The lady in the heart. I saw your photo, so beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Mom. So what I learned is that we shouldn't allow our emotions to get the better of us. She acted very wisely in that even though she gave conditions, but she still wanted to maintain a home. She tried her very best to maintain a home. So we shouldn't let our emotions determine our actions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? I'm looking for something. You want to say the last one? The TSO's wife. The husband, sorry.
You know, when she was kind to her husband's lover, the husband softened. You get more flies with honey than with vinegar.
Thank you.
And sometimes it's important that you are sweet, even in the midst of pain, to be nice, to be yourself, to be kind, to be gentle, because you get more results than to be vindictive and everything. When you apply force, there's a lot of resistance, but when you apply sugar, you get love back.
Thank you. Thank you very much. There are so many lessons yesterday, and that is what I call balance. Our AGM is not just scientific session, it's about building our lives. And as women who are professional, the other aspect of our life, nobody talks to us about that. Because a lot of the times we are professionals, she's a lawyer and a good and astute lawyer, but she was able to come down to do the thing that she did. How many of us seated here will not say that, cheer, me? If you like, you can go, I don't care. And we are losing it all the time. Ladies, I have realized in my professional life, as a public sector worker, that there is always need for a balance. Yesterday was exactly 32 years when I married. Yes, but it has not been easy. The road will never be easy, but you must get a balance. Get a balance as a professional woman and get a balance as a homemaker. All of us may not become nuns. All of us may not have opportunity to marry. Some are already married 40 years, 36 years. But if you ask each one of them, they have their own stories to tell. But they are still in there. Why? Because it's a duty, it's a service you are rendering to humanity. It's not every marriage that produces a child, but that marriage can do a lot more. Anyway, we are not in counseling section, so let us move away quickly from that. I put it as a low-hanging fruit, something that we can take home and do something about our own lives at home. And to the young ones who are not yet married, please take it from me. There is no perfect man. There is none. None. Okay? When you are courting, it's beautiful. That is cloud 9. But when you are staying together, it's also another area. So please take note of that. The lessons you learned at Ebo White yesterday should not be lost on you. Let's be sweet at all times. Like Auntie Susie said, sweetness will always attract ants. Okay? But vinegar does not attract anything. So please, like I said, we are not in counseling session, and so I'll move quickly to the bigger issues. I have a favorite quote I want to talk about, and that quote is, it is, or I would say, if it does not challenge you, it will not change you. Do you understand that? If something does not challenge you, then you remain status quo. In life, you will be challenged in various ways. Even in our professional life, I have worked in hospital, in the public sector, my life. Right from Tema General Hospital to Tema Polyclinic, you know, there was a time I stood before my boss, and she would give it to you like, that was where I met the president for the first time. She would give it to you like that, and my hand would be at my back. And I said, yes, ma'am. I didn't know I was learning something at that time. It was when I left her and had to manage GNDP and had to deal with stakeholders. That was when I realized that I could easily go back to those lessons I learned when I was working under Dr. Kubaji. And it's always a learning process for us. When the thing does not challenge you, it can never change you. And so I want to urge you, if you are going through a challenge today, don't look at the challenge alone and forget about the lessons. The lessons are so important. I will give you another example. I recall one of the days when I was the chief pharmacist of Ghana, and you go for meetings at the MOH. My office was in the MOH, and we were having a discussion, and you make a point, and somebody, sorry to say, not that the person is better than you. He said, oh, her office is in Ghana Health Service, and so she should not come and be disturbing our ears. From that day, I made up my mind. MOH must move to the Ministry of Health. Yes. And today we have MOH in the Ministry of Health. Otherwise, we were operating from the Ghana Health Service and doing things, and until I was challenged that you don't belong here. Because, true, I was employed by the Ghana Health Service, but I was doing big things for the Ministry of Health. Okay? And so it is important that when the thing does not challenge you, it will never change you. I want to urge you that when you go through your challenges, don't ever forget the lessons they bring to you. I go on to define what a versatile lady should be. When I look at the English dictionary, it talks about ability to adapt or be adapted to many functions or activities. When I read this, I was like, oh, okay. But you see, you must be good at what you are doing first before you can go on to do other things. Otherwise, you will be a jack of all trades, a master of none. Hello? You must be good. You are a pharmacist, very good. A lady pharmacist, all the best. And I believe that if you ask Mrs. Unicom, Mrs. Chega, you know, about how she became what she has become, she will tell you that, hey, it's not easy like that. What you are seeing today is not what you saw maybe some 25 years or is it 30? I'm not sure, 25 years ago. So it is very important that you must be good at what you are doing to be able to expand onto that. Because I'm sure she started as a retail pharmacist, added on maybe some wholesaling, and before long she had become one of the big time wholesalers in this country with branches. It takes somebody who is good at what she began to do and then expanded on it to become a more versatile person. And then I also went on to look at what it means to be versatile. It means that you have to be open to new ideas all the time. If you are the same old thinking in the old system, you will never know what is happening in the 22nd century. That is to say that you must be able to think 5 to 10 years ahead. Anytime I'm talking to my staff, at the ministry at the time, I tell them, look, what we are doing today, be thinking about 5 to 10 years time, what will happen. And so what we were doing, we were not doing it for the day. We were doing it 5 to 10 years to come. And I believe that those who follow us will also do 5 to 10 years to come, that we are building and we are moving forward. Be open to new ideas. And you can only be open to new ideas when you search what is new about what you are doing. A lot of us here, we only do WhatsApp with our phone. But the internet has changed our mode of working. And so therefore, it is important that you can do things better than what you used to know or what you were taught in school. Because remember that when we were in the university, they said pharmacist is the custodian of medicines. Is that what you see today? No. There are so many people doing medicines. But it will take somebody who is open-minded to do more. And that is the reason why at a point in time we felt 4-year degree as an entry point for pharmacists may not be helping us as people. And we suggested that we should do the 6-year course. And I believe that with time we will begin to see how we have to be open-minded in other areas of life. The other thing I thought you should do also will be good communication. If you want to be versatile, then you must be able to communicate your issues properly. Some of us do not know how to talk. Somebody will meet you and say, he will just throw the words to you. And without thinking about your feelings and, but as a lady, we must season our words with salt. That's what the good book says. Season our words with salt. Some of us, the way we communicate is so bad. And even among ourselves. Right now, if they put something here for everybody, you will see how people will hope over other people to get there first. Yes, you need to get there first, but consider other people. Let's do communication. Let's season our words with salt so that the thing that will come out of our mouth will be pleasant to the ear and would move us to our next level. The last but not the least in that area is our relationships. Some of us, our relationships are so bad. So bad that nobody wants to mention our names anywhere. It is, I came to Tamale. I remember I've retired. So when I was coming, my children came to drop me at the, formerly a driver would take you to the airport. You know what I mean? And when I got to the airport, normally somebody would be at the airport to wait for me. But we joined the bars, okay? But some way, somehow, somebody felt he may not be doing something right. So by the following morning, a driver was waiting at the hotel to bring me. And then my colleagues would join and said, "Hey, madam, you are powerful." I said, "I retired with not a person in my bank account. But you know what I have? Relationships. I have relationships. There's no region in this country that I will go that I will have to struggle to get things done for me." Relationships are so important. I'll come back to talk about it under what I term networks, because the relationships must lead you to what I call networks. And so I would move quickly and come back to the opportunities and career developments. Ladies and gentlemen, before this conference, AGM, on almost all platforms, I saw the Chief Program Officer throw in a lot of policy documents that the ministry has developed. And I don't know how many people open them. But in those policy documents are areas that you can look at and begin to do something about yourself. In those policy documents are areas of health economics. In those policy documents are areas of infection prevention, infection, not just infection prevention, infectious diseases as a subject. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to urge us that we must be careful that the policy document that come around, let's find time to open the pages. For a long time, I kept telling PSGH that, look, we have cooked all the food for separation of services because we took time to create that in our policy document. And that policy document went through what I call stakeholder analysis, including doctors, nurses, everybody. Not once, not twice. And when we finished with that, it went to Jubilee House for cabinet approval. Cabinet approved it. So it is a working tool of government. But when it comes to implementation, we chicken out a bit, Mr. President. We chicken out a bit, and as I speak, I'm sure that policy document has to be reviewed because it's supposed to be 5 years. And so I must say that there are opportunities and career pathways. Luckily for the enactment of Act 833, which established the Ghana College of Pharmacists. And I must urge that it doesn't stop you from doing any of the academic work if you want to go to academia. But if you want to remain in the public sector and be relevant, the fellowship pathway is also another area. You can do your public health. You can do your health economics. You can do your PhDs. You can do anything, even HR, you can. But the fellowship gives you an advantage as a pharmacist. And there are 6 areas. Within those 6 areas of public health, social and admin pharmacy, drug production and herbal medicine for those who are interested in that. Then we have quality assurance, and we have what I call clinical pharmacy, and we have community pharmacy. These are all fellowship programs. Please, if we do not study, we become stale. And so I want to urge you that if you will not do any of the other academic ways, go into the fellowship. It doesn't stop you because it's so flexible. You can still be at work and still get your fellowship. And luckily, because it's a government program, you can still do it and get promoted, especially for those who are in the public sector. When you do the membership, you become a specialist, and when you finish, you become a senior specialist. As you do you continue publishing, you become a consultant. That is the highest grade in the ministry. Because how many people become directors? It can only be one at a time. But the consultants is open. We can. Let's take advantage of that. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I come to the part I love most. Some of the lessons I have learned within my 35 years public service. Lady, please know yourself. Know yourself and be yourself. Don't be like any other person. I cannot be like Lucia. Because when she comes to the ministry representing local manufacturers, she is very loud. And I say, hey, lady, take it easy. I cannot be like her. And so I have to be myself. Because God has a way of using you for who you are and taking you to the next level. So please, be yourself. And don't be like any other person. And the fact that somebody is progressing in this way does not mean that if you go there, you will also progress. No, it doesn't work like that. Look at the fingers. They are not the same. You see this one, it's so small, but it's so powerful. And you see this, it's also there, thumb. And so please, I want to urge you that be yourself and don't ever wish to be like somebody else. That is why anywhere I go, my mentors, I tell them, if you want to be like me, then you have failed, because you must go and rise above me and do something more than what I've done. Otherwise, we have not achieved anything. And I want to tell those who are mentors here also that don't be afraid when your mentees have outgrown you. Don't be afraid at all. Because that is how nature made it. Okay? Don't be afraid. And so give out yourself and be given. Because when you do that, I'm sure your God will be happy with it. Then I want to also say that add value to yourself at any point in time. Value to yourself is key. And don't follow the crowd. Do what your strength can do. You are not competing with anybody. Do what you can do and do it well. And I must also say that what's your attitude? Your attitude. Some of first ladies can give attitude. Hey, when you pass in front of them, they will look at you from the top to the down. Please check your attitude, because it determines how far you go in life. Your attitude determines your altitude. Take note of that, ladies. And let's stop the attitude things. When I say attitude, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And again, I want to say networks. I have talked about relationships already, but networks are more than relationships. You build relationship sometimes with your friends, but networks, as you pass through the pages of life, from your secondary school, you'll be amazed that your secondary school mate will be somebody who will help you in the future. So don't underestimate anybody. When you at the university, I don't think you were only pharmacy focused. If you were, you made a mistake. Because when you come out, you are not only going to stay with pharmacists. If you are lucky, you marry one, praise the Lord. But there are engineers, there are doctors, even within the healthcare team, there are dispensing technicians, there are laboratory scientists. Please, they are all your networks. They are so important that you need them at any stage in life, and don't underestimate them. They will be useful to you. I keep saying that I have retired, but my networks are more than millions for me. And the last thing I will say, which is one of the things, is the Godfather. Your belief system. If it is Allah you believe, make sure you serve him and serve him well. If it is God you believe, make sure you serve him and serve him well. And make sure that in all your ways, you acknowledge him, because he will direct your path. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, somebody says success is a sum of small effects. Small things you do. Today you are late to work. Oh, it doesn't matter, it's only today. Oh, the following day is the same. So, in a week, you don't go to work early, it becomes a habit. When you repeat things, they become habitual. And when the things have become a habit, they become your character. Please, let's take small efforts to do things about our lives, so much so that we can be better people as we grow, as we explore the possibilities. And I want to say that offer your shoulder to someone else. It is always good. I stood on the shoulders of senior pharmacists, Mr. J, Divine Esiama, Mr. Boatin. I stood on their shoulders. I learned so much from them, and so I decided that my shoulder must also be for somebody else to stand on to see the person's world. Make sure you offer your shoulder to somebody else to see the world. Ladies and gentlemen, as I bring the message to conclusion, I must say that your life is a story, and be careful how you pen those pages, because somebody else is reading them. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Auntie Martha, for those powerful messages. Ladies and gentlemen, we can do it better. We've learned so much from Auntie Martha. Don't look at the challenges and forget the lessons. We've also learned to know ourselves, and we've also seen that attitude determines our altitude. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, the next distinguished to honor us with his presence is the president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana, and he's here. Ladies and gentlemen, shall we invite on stage Mr. President in the person of Mr. Samuel Eko Kodonko.
Thank you. And good afternoon to everyone. Sure, we are all tired. Really exhausted from this morning. But once I'm here, I know I was introduced as a patron of Lapag. I've listened to your deliberations, and I quite frankly got a bit confused, because when the chairperson was here, almost everything was being discussed: PSGH, the PSGH money, the PSGH funds, the PSGH funds. I was asking, am I in another PSGH meeting again to respond to questions? Because after this morning's heated debate on, exchanges and all the business meetings, I felt that I should come to the ladies and feel relaxed here. So I came in to come and relax, only to hear you don't have enough money, the PSGH money is not enough, the PSGH funds not enough. That's a difficult one. We have to look into it. So I don't even know, because I think the AGM made appropriations. There should be an AGM decision. If it's an AGM decision, we can't touch it as SEC or governing body. It has to come back to AGM. So we'll look at it, and I'll get into it to see if it was the decision of AGM as to how much is allocated for Lapag. The second issue I would want to touch on is also on the welfare. I heard you have welfare of 120 Ghana cedis. I will just plead with executives to look at the welfare package of 120 Ghana cedis, whether you would use that to sign on to what we've also, for all your members to get onto the new enhanced one, or what we've done with the insurance company, the Glyco Enterprise Insurance package, because it's really good, and we would want all pharmacists to be on it, even though it's not mandatory. If you can let your members be on it, it will be good, especially when you look at the numerous benefits that come with it. And we could even make it in such a way that you don't need to send the funds to PSGH. The money can be at Lapag, and Lapag can sign on directly. Once we tell them that Lapag is part of PSGH, you sign on, so that when there are claims, Lapag will go straight to the insurance company and make a claim. You don't need to send it to PSGH for PSGH to sign on with the insurance company. That we can discuss that, so that it becomes something you manage directly under what we've secured. The third thing I would say, that I know, yes, the fund issues were coming up, which is to do with issues. We have the head of the strategic plan being a former chairperson of Lapag. So basically what it means is that in the strategic plan implementation, if there's any area where you think Lapag can execute, it's something, because we know that there are capable people in Lapag who can execute some of the projects. So you need to analyze, let's look around it, where they can, for example, public health, some of the public health initiatives, if Lapag would take it up, it would also make sure that some funding will be made available to you. When we write to our development partners to support us, we could put Lapag as the entity that is leading that particular campaign, even though the money is coming to PSGH. I believe all those things will help you to be able to improve your funding. And that's what I'll say. And finally, I would want to say thank you to so many Lapag members I have worked with in the past. That is, I have special gratitude to Dr. and Mrs. Johnson Lutrod, who personally we had to work, especially when I was the president of Pharmaceutical Importers and Wholesalers Association, and I needed to get VAT removed from medicines, selected medicines. Yes, she was a very tough lady, but she still supported us and made sure we got a very good policy for our members, and it helped reduce prices of medicines a lot. Yeah, so I think her skills, her advocacy skills, her negotiation skills was brought to bear, and that was something I would always appreciate. And my long-time standing vice president of PIWA, Mrs. Patience Chega, who was my vice president when I was the president of PIWA, she was extremely supportive. You see that she's a pillar you can count on. Anytime I'll call her out, we have this problem, we have to go to FDA. We have this problem, we have to go to the ministry. She's always there to support. When it's an issue that we have to go to parliament and we needed the money, we needed anything, I'll call her, she'll be there. So I know that when you have Lapag people around you, you can always count on them, and they help you to succeed. That I trust. And I think Nana is also doing a very wonderful job for us on SEC. And when you look at what we have achieved a lot on the strategic plan, is because of her. Even though sometimes I don't know whether she's able to take my pressure because I can, or Sunday, sometime midnight, and I'll say that this, I'm giving you this deadline. I want this to be done. I don't want, and that will give her a lot of pressure. Yes, but please bear with me when I'm giving the pressure because I mean, that's my nature. I would want to see the job done and I want to work with timelines. I was trained in an environment that demands that. But she's also been very supportive. And so many Lapag members are serving on various committees, including the chairperson of this AGM. And so many of the committees, we have Lapag members doing work. Please, if you want to do something more for Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana, you can either pass through your Lapag chairperson, reach out that you would want to serve. You want to play a pivotal role. Day in and day out, we always get some committees coming up. There's always something that we are doing ad hoc committees that we need people to serve. Just reach out. You want people who would reach out that they want to do that than to go with people who you are not sure whether they will do it. You can also reach out to me as the president that you would want to serve the society. So when there's any opportunity, let's make it available to you. And I would really do that. So in short, I would want to tell you that yes, I'm a patron of Lapag. But I think I have Lapag at heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, for having Lapag at heart. We are grateful for your support as well. Ladies, I'd like us to note that the Lapag cloth is available for sale at 30 cedis per yard, upstairs at the PSG Secretariat at AGM, and after at AGM, it is upstairs, and after AGM, you can find it at the PSG Secretariat. Also, CPPA has for sale a book, Guidelines for Community Pharmacy Practice, with checklists, SOPs, and counseling protocols. It's going at 120 cedis. So you can grab a copy over here. During AGM, it's going for 120. After AGM, it's going for 150 cedis. On that note, we have a panel discussion, and gracing our occasions, we have lady pharmacists.
Please, before the introduction, I want Auntie Martha, thank you so much. Our collection gave us 2,115 cedis. So, thank you very much for that innovative suggestion. And then thank you, members, for graciously taking up the challenge to donate. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So on our panel, we have 3 lady pharmacists. We call them versatile lady pharmacists. So gracing our panel, we have on board Farm Esther Hayford of Zigot Yogurt. Shall we give her a round of applause as she comes to take her seat? Farm Esther Hayford. Let's give it up for her. We also have Farm Abna Edu of Anything Exclusive. Let's give it up for her as she comes up to join the panel. Also, we have Farm Patience Chega of Unicom Chemist. Shall we give it up for her as she comes up stage? Let's do it better. Are we tired? Okay, so I'll hand over to my co-MC to handle the panel discussion.
Thank you very much, Peggy. Good evening, everyone. My name is Princess, and I'll be handling the panel discussion for this session. Good evening, Madam. Please, I would want you all to take me through a brief story about how you started from pharmacy into your various business that you have. Please, who would like to go first?
So good evening, everybody. I'm supposed to tell you about how I started as a pharmacist to where I am now.
Hello.
So I would say I was also in KNUST, like most of our older pharmacists. And I came out in 1989. Fresh graduate of pharmacy, 1989, with a registration number of 1078. So after pharmacy, I did my national service housemanship in Kolebu Teaching Hospital. From Kolebu, we were supposed to do 3 years compulsory government work. So I was in Kaneshi Polyclinic for the 3 years. Then after Kaneshi Polyclinic, I ended up in Unicom Chemist. So I started Unicom Chemist with one shop as a retail pharmacy in Dansuma. Along the line, we added one, we added two, we added a third one, and then from there, I did the clinical pharmacy in Robert Gordon to add up to the pharmacy. So I became a clinical pharmacist, but I was still in the business. So after the third pharmacy, we added a wholesale. Then finally, it became a family business. My husband got involved, and now, by God's grace, we have 30 shops. So we have 15 wholesales and 15 retails in Accra, Tema, Ashama, and Kumasi. And maybe we are counting more. Is that okay now?
Yes, please, that's fine. Famabna. Okay.
Family life. Family life with running business is a bit difficult. So I ended up I had a daughter before I started the pharmacy. So I was pregnant when I started the pharmacy, had that second daughter, and I ended there. So I have 2 daughters and 30 pharmacies.
Thank you very much, Madam Patient. Famabna.
I think I'll start with anything exclusive, since that was the caption. So I finished. Please, my name is Abina Owusu-Edu, for Farm Abina Owusu-Edu. My number is HPA 3447. I finished school in 2013 from KNUST. Then I served as a teaching assistant in pharmaceutical chemistry department for a year. It was during that time that I think Ebola came around that time. And I was in the lab then. So Princess and Peggy are some of the students I taught. So then I started mixing things in the lab. I realized sanitizers were short in the market. And I remember when we were in school, I was the president of the Pharmacy Christian Fellowship then. So I said, we had a project to do some sanitizers to create awareness about hand hygiene and all that. So when the Ebola issue came up, I went back to the lab and I thought to myself, let me see what I can do to improve what we had. So I went to the lab, started producing. I think it was on one of such occasions that Prof. Ayensu met me in the lab. He was our HOD then, and asked, Abna, what are you doing? And I said, Prof, I'm trying to work on some sanitizers. Then he said, okay, have I finished producing them? I said, yes. He said, okay, then let's do the microbial analysis. I said, okay, that's fine. And after the microbial analysis, we did comparative studies with other products that were on the market. And some of the students worked on them as their project, and we realized that the product was coming top amongst the best on the market. So then we decided that, okay, Prof said, can you work with the department for some time before you go off? I said, okay. But I would want a legal contract to this. So then I started this for about 2 years with production in the faculty. So that's how the faculty production unit probably started. Then we took it, so after the 2 years, I was done with my master's in pharmaceutical chemistry. I was getting married, and I realized I didn't like the things that were being portrayed. Like everybody was doing centerpieces, floral centerpieces, and all that. And I said, oh, I don't think I'm interested in these floral centerpieces. I want something different. And it was difficult communicating my ideas to the people that I wanted them to do it. So I said, okay, then I'll do it myself, and I'll just get somebody to supervise. Thank God I have a very creative sister as a big sister. So I told her, she said, okay, let's work on this. She came on board. I remember a night to my own wedding, we were working like I was doing an event for somebody. So by God's grace, we were able to put everything together. And the ceremony came out so well. So after that ceremony, people started calling me, oh, can I get this? Where did you get this from? I said, oh, I did it myself. And they were all shocked. I said, I did it myself. They said, okay, can you do this for me? So I initially didn't start as I was doing it as a business. I just wanted something different for my wedding, and it would have ended it then. So that was in 2016. So we continued. Then I started stationery. That was my mainstay for some time. I remember when I started I realized, oh, this is getting interesting. But I needed people to also help me out, like people to give me the chance to even showcase what I wanted to do for them. So I remember I WhatsApp a friend who is getting married, who has not even invited me to do anything for her. I'll call or WhatsApp and say, oh, I want to do this for you. Are you okay? She said, oh, I don't have my money. So I said, don't worry, I'll come and put it there for you. So it started like that. And people would see it at the event, and then you get feedback, good feedback. So we started that one too. And by God's grace, I always thought I'm still not there. We continued, and by God's grace, we do, I'll say that, very big events now. And then, still by God's grace, is one of, and people will tell you that when it comes to stationery in Kumasi, go to anything exclusive. And when you want customized things for your wedding, like if you want your decor and everything to talk about who you are, because what I do, we don't do what everybody does. So we see the clients, we are that detailed. So we look at you and what your interests are, and we try to create them as the centerpieces or as everything about you for your wedding. So that is how Anything Exclusive also started. And we've been in the industry for about 2 years now, still growing. And now I'm also still doing my PhD in pharmaceutical chemistry and a lecturer in the Kumasi Technical University. So basically that has been my story. I remember when Lucia spoke to me, the chair spoke to me, she said, is it the same Abna that we were calling during COVID? I said, yes. I remember during the COVID, a lot of calls were coming in from Nanaya Equity Pharmacy. I told her, Nanaya will deliver. And I must say, I have a very strong team. It's not one person. That's why I was happy with what Dr. Jan Salutra was talking about. It's been a teamwork. I have a solid team behind me. I was telling Araya today that my husband is exceptional. So all the things I'm able to do, I think I'm just the face to it. Because the things he does in the background, I don't know what to say, but he is phenomenal. So I am just the face to it. And it doesn't take only one person. I'm not sure if my husband was not supportive, I would be here. Because events you run at night, there are days, I always say that I cry more than I laugh during events. Because sometimes you don't get them the way you want them to go. Last week I had an event and it rained terribly. And I was very down. And you need somebody to patch but oh, Abna, don't worry, everything will be fine. So that has been my story. And then by God's grace, we have two girls. Continue. So that's my story.
That's a very inspiring story from Abna. Madam Esther Hayford, please can you take us to how you got into Zygote business?
Okay. Esther Nadede Hayford Amwa. I 2177. I completed USC 2014, and then I think I entered the Ghana Health Service in the year 2015. Yeah. I went to Adan in the Greater Accra region. We served there. I was there with my husband, a medical officer. So we were there and we realized that the whole district from Dowinya all the way to Gakope, there was no single pharmacy. So we decided to consult the elders in the profession, the elders in my profession, the pharmacist there. I talked to him and asked him why he has not established any facility all this while. And he was like, oh, as for these people, their purchasing power is not good. It's not going to fetch you anything. So for him, he's not interested. It's okay. So I talked to my husband and we decided to give it a try. It was a very remote, it's not that remote, but the prospects from the layman's point of view was not that much or high. But we ventured into it. That was in 2016, 2017. We established the first pharmacy in Adan. So whilst we were on it, when we are having our naming ceremonies and parties and stuff, my husband is, let me say, entrepreneur by birth. So as he was in school, he learned how to do this fresh yogurt, like the one that UST we are used to. He paid with his needs loan, and somebody taught him from their Greek department. So he was doing it and selling it on campus, when we were on campus at the JCRs, and it was making a lot of money for him. So when we finished school, we got married, and during our programs, like naming ceremonies, he used to produce the yogurt to serve our guests. And always, the feedback was, where do I get this to buy? I want this. I want to try it. I want to sell some. Like, the feedback was so good. The first outdoor, any program we had, the feedbacks were the same. So then, I asked him, Kwame, can we try going commercial with this? And he was like, if we want to go commercial, then we need to really study it and study the commercial basis of yogurt and stuff. So I decided to do that, and then we gave our first try. I was the salesman myself. I went with a driver, and then we started sampling at the shops, and we realized that truly people really loved it. So we decided to register the product, and then Zygote started. So Zygote started actually in 2015. We registered the company in 2014, but the Zygote brand started effectively 2015. So we started on a pilot basis, on a small scale. Then we realized that no, if we pursue it further, expand our horizon, we can really make it. So from Accra, gradually we went to the eastern region, we went to the Volta region, we got to Ashanti, and now we supply most of the regions, just that for some few months now, we have withdrawn from Tamale and some of the regions for logistic reasons. But we can proudly say that Zygot brand is one of the best brands. We can shoulder with the seniors we came to meet in the industry. So we were able to get our way through ShopRite, all the ShopRite malls. Now Zygot brand is there. You go to Game Discount World, you go to Marina, Melcom. We are everywhere now by the grace of God. So it's not been easy though, but the grace of God has seen us through. And for now, we can say that we are ready to delve deeper. Yes. Though the raw materials, the economic situation has made things dire for us because most of our raw materials are imported. So it makes things a bit difficult. But I think that for now, we are doing okay on the market. We have 4 children. We have 3 girls and a boy. Yes. And as a matter of fact, we are still in the health. We resigned from the Ghana Health Service. I resigned in 2016, but he resigned in 2015. So for now, he has a private clinic. We are still managing the pharmacy. We have this year, we opened another pharmacy in the same district. And then we have a mortuary too in the same town. So we are also still improving by the day. God being our help. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Actually, I would say I have been enjoying Zygot, but I never knew it was from a lady pharmacist till I think some days ago. So I'm really impressed. We are also fortunate to have online Farm Clara Pinkra Sam. She is the founder and the creative director of Clatural. It's a clothing line which is known internationally. Farm Clara, please, can you hear us?
Yes, please, I can hear you very well.
Yes, please. Can you please take us through your journey to Clatura from pharmacy school, please?
And hello to everyone there. First of all, let me apologize for not being able to be present in person. It's a pleasure to be here. And briefly, I finished in 2000, finished USC in 2000, but then I did not graduate with my mates. And this is in pursuit of my, as I would say, bigger dreams. And so my number is PA1975. I'm a practicing pharmacist, which I love, of course, is my first love. I'm an IT consultant. I've worked with the World Bank and the UNDP for close to 17 years. And I'm the founder and creative director of Platral, which is an international brand, fashion brand. My desire to go into various areas is simply engineered by the way God created me. I'm a multi-potentialite. I mean, people like me, and a lot of us are like that, we just haven't discovered it. You know, when you are in a primary school and the teacher asks kids, when you grow up, what do you want to be? Some will say, go straight and say, I want to be a gynecologist. Others will say, I want to be a doctor. I mean, you don't know what a general practitioner or what. Others will say, I will be a nurse, I'll be an architectural, I would be a teacher. And then we think those kids are confused. They're really not confused. It's something that stays in them. So naturally, I'm one of those, you know, multi-potentialite. I'm quite very adaptable. I don't fear to take certain steps. This is just how God made me. And so before we finished tech, my time, we used to travel. I don't know whether it's still there. So I'll say that we used to have the opportunity to travel to US and then UK to work, you know, to make some money and all of that. By the time I finished tech, I had been through UK and I was then going to the US. I didn't come back after our exams to come and write my professional exams to get registered. I stayed in US because I was pursuing something in the field of IT. I find I found the IT industry to be very intriguing, and so I wanted to do something. And I didn't have my education there. All I had was pharmacy, which I wasn't full-fledged. I only had KNUST, and we know you have to do your community practice and your national service and do your professional exam. I didn't have all of that. So I looked at an area in IT where health is relevant. So I started off from what we call low-hanging fruits. And so I did what we call medical transcriptionist, where you work with doctors. Doctors see patients and dictate patients' information on a PDA, that's a palm device, and then send it onto a server. So you will listen and transcribe for doctors. I did that, the call center management, I did a whole lot. And eventually came to Ghana to do consultancy in the area of business process outsourcing for the government of Ghana and the World Bank projects. Did that for the UNDP as well, or for the government of Ghana. And through it all, at a point in time, I was the CEO of IT associations, all the companies, IT companies in Ghana. I acted as the CEO, had to put them together to be able to help build the industry. If you know that Accra Digital Center, that's my baby. It's engineered and solicited funds from the bank and Rockefeller Foundation to put it together. So a whole lot. But through all this, people used to tell me I was very fashionable. I could just, what I'll buy from a shop is not what I'll wear. And then it comes out very good. I was very creative with my hands, very confident, and I didn't fear to enter into new terrains. And so I decided to pick up something in fashion as well. And I was very passionate. So I named the brand after myself. It's called Collateral, pretty much Clara and culture put together. And that is what I'm doing now. I still work for as an external consultant on World Bank projects. I'm heading Collateral now. And of course, I also as a superintendent pharmacist. Pharmacy is very dear to me. And no matter what I add on to my portfolio is my first lab. So in brief, this is what I do.
Thank you very much, Farm Clara. Please, I would like to ask, especially Farm Abuna and Farm Clara, did you have any form of training in your businesses that you do? Did you go on any training, formal training, if possible?
Okay, for cord, as in for the manufacturing part, it was something I was already doing in the lab. So it was more like you are doing, I liked physics and chemistry. So working on formulations and then looking at the quality control of the formulation. So that wasn't a big deal for me. The major challenge was with decor. I'm sure I know I was very bad at art when I was in school. Like, I just couldn't draw anything. I'm sure my teachers will be surprised because that I'm doing this now. Because when I was in school, when you asked me to do anything related to art, I would run away. I remember my pre-tech teacher told me, this girl can score 60 over 60 in the designing and making. But for the drawing, I don't know. So I just needed, by God's grace, I was good academically, but I didn't like art. I told my dad about it, and he said he also didn't like art, so I forgot about the art. I said it's in the family line. But I knew my sister was very good in the art. So I decided to rather get close to her and to learn from how she thinks about everything, creating things. So when I started, and I realized, oh, there are a lot of YouTube videos. Let me start with the YouTube videos. And what the challenge I had was, because I didn't want to do the normal things that people like do, then where are you going to learn from? Then I realized, okay, for basic concepts, they are the same everywhere. But if I want to add on, then I would need other people who are already in the industry. So I decided to understudy people who were in the industry. So I heard people who, maybe when they go for events, when I hear there's an event, I could just go there, stand there and ask, do you mind me watching what you are doing? And they'll say no. So I would also go there, spend my time and observe. That's all I would do. Then they'll be like, oh, you can come and arrange this thing. And I said, okay, I'm fine with it. Truthfully, I never told them my background. And up till now, people get surprised when they hear that I'm a pharmacist and I'm doing that. So when I go for the, I remember when I go for the event, I just go and study the people. Then I got other people who were also in the industry to also work for me when I started. So I was using their experience and what I had also learned from other people. And with the team coming together, we were able to put down everything. So now, I think I won't say I've finished learning, because every day I'm learning. Every day I'm on the internet looking at how we will build things. Because most of our things that we do, we are building stages, we are building backdrops. Now, when it comes to the very difficult backdrops to be built, I have a lot of event planners. This backdrop, I now will build it. Truthfully, when you go to our page, what you have are just a few of our works. Some of them I don't tell them. I build backdrops for a lot of event organizers in Kumasi, but we don't talk about it because I can't also take all the pressure that comes with. Now I've restricted myself to about maximum of 2 events a month. The calls that keep coming in, you are getting about 8 people in a month, but truthfully, I can't handle that. So because of that, we don't post a lot of our work so that when people keep calling, we would not deny them that opportunity. So that has been it for me.
Thank you. Fam Clara, please, do you have anything to add?
Yes, please. I realized quite early that depending on the level you want to go, you would always have to, as it were, solidify your talents or your skills with some certificates. So yes, I hold a master's in ICT from Aalborg University in Denmark, and that's what solidifies me as a consultant in the IT field and to be able to work on to the level of the World Bank and the UNDP. And so, yes, I have formal training in that. As part of that, because I was doing training, I took so many certifications in other professions like HR. I hold a certification in HR because you must learn, like guest speaker said, your human interaction is very, very important. You must also learn how to deliver your speech, carry yourself and everything. So there's so many things that, yes, you have the basic skills and sometimes we are born with it or you self-learn and all of that. I did realize that it gets to a certain point to be able to reach the global bar, and take your, for instance, to be able to take my product to Soho in New York. That is the prime. If you're talking about fashion in the world, it's the enclave. It's like talking about a high street in Accra, when we know that's where, almost a lot of the top banks head offices are. If you talk about Soho in Manhattan, US, New York, that is, the nucleus of fashion, and that's where I have a shop right there. So to be able to do that, you must have, reach a certain level. So yes, I've run a couple of certifications in fashion, though I earned them whilst in the business because, like I said, yes, natural skills are there to help me. I learn on YouTube, just like Abna said, and all of that. But at a point, you need to show some kind of paper. So yes, I've taken a lot of certifications in the IT field, and also even in my area as fashion. I do a lot of mentorship for young people, and I realize that, yeah, to be able to get to that level and make meaningful impact. Of course, our parents raised us so well. Some of our mothers didn't even go to school or not as educated as we are, but they did their very best. The world has changed. Children are even more sophisticated now. The youth, as we all know, are very, very versatile now, and customers are very complex now. Whatever you are doing now, you need to be very IT or social media relevant and conscious. And as an IT person, I did that, and I have another side job where I train people on how they can run their businesses using the internet and mentor people that way and all of that. How to drive followers to your business, get clients, and all of that. So it all, I keep learning, keep getting certifications because customers and clients in general are getting very complex. And I needed that to be able to stay very adaptable and much on the floating level in terms of business.
Thank you very much. For want of time, I would like to take some few words from you. If you had a lady pharmacist to advise, please, what would be your advice to the lady pharmacist, briefly, for all four?
So, what I will tell every young pharmacist now is work is difficult, but at the end of the day, success is also very great. So, in as much as it will be difficult, sometimes you go to bed late and wake up early, you have to put in so much effort. You have to make sure that the path you have taken, you are ready to go. And with a lot of work and prayers, God will lead you to a successful end. So wherever you are working, you have to be a bit curious. Try to understand why things are being done the way they are done. I would say I learned a lot about community pharmacy where I did my locum. And it's the same shop that the thematic speaker did her community pharmacy. That was Mokat Chemist. Mokat Chemist was good, and we learned a lot there. So anywhere you go now for your preceptor training or whatever, take particular interest in what is going on. Be observant and be ready to work. And the sky will be the limit. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, what I'd like to say is that I believe everyone is unique, and God has made us, created as unique vessels. So identify what makes you unique, and then use that to the benefit of society, and through that you'll be rewarded. I didn't set out to get money from what I was doing, but by providing a service or providing a certain solution, now, by God's grace, we are being paid for that. I also tell myself I don't really think that to have a lot of money is the final goal. The main purpose or the main thing I have in my mind is, what can I do to solve a problem today? What can I do to make things better for people today? So I'm always looking out for that. I am not sure if the list has ended for us, or for me, I would say. But I believe that as God leads us, and as I see the challenges that we face as a society, we would not stop, but we will continue to find solutions. And as we find the solutions, we are sure that through that, we may be rewarded. And that is it for us. Thank you.
Thank you, too.
Okay. The little I also have to add to what my fellow panelists have just said. As a pharmacist, it's like they've given us a platform, and you can catapult yourself anywhere you want, if only you are ready to. And we need to be open-minded. Sometimes you might not know where your life is going to take you to, but if you're able to identify your passion, because without the passion, let me say, the passion is what drives your dream. So you might be doing something that you may not be enjoying. Find out what you enjoy most, and you might be surprised where it may lead you to. This certificate we have, yes, it can help us get some basics. But if you really want to be successful, look out for what makes you, or what you are passionate about. And every little opportunity can grow into a tree that you have never imagined. So that is a little I can say. And then we should also be ready to take risks. Yes, we should be risk takers. If you are able to take the risk, I think that you would fear nothing. because you will not be afraid to fail. You will not be afraid to start again, to venture into other areas. You may try one thing, it may not work. It may be working for this person, it may not work for you. The fact that somebody is making money in salt business doesn't mean you can also make money there. I'll give you one example. When we went to Adan, we all know that Adan is a hub of salt, and we thought we could cash in there. We went in there, invested a lot of money, and like we didn't get even 1% of our investment. But that didn't stop us from reinvesting into other areas. We decided to invest in things that we have the technical know-how. If you don't have the technical know-how and you start it, you are bound to fail. For that one, it's something we have learned personally, or in our personal practice, or in our personal business. If you have the technical know-how, look, sometimes in the yogurt business, all my workers can decide to disappoint you. When you have a big order, look, we can push them all aside and do it ourselves. So that they know that at every point in time, you can do what you have trained them to do. Otherwise, workers will always hold your business to ransom. So you should have a technical know-how on whatever you want to invest your money in. It is very important. I think I will end it here.
Thank you very much. From Clara, please, any closing remarks or advice?
From my end, I will say that for every lady pharmacist, don't be afraid to leave your comfort zone and to enter into different territories. Remember, as a pharmacist, yes, you can do a lot within that region, but stepping out puts you in another area altogether, stepping out into another category of profession increases your network. You know, for instance, I have my pharmacy network, I do have my IT network, I have my fashion network, and they all come together to build a bigger family for in all of my businesses. So it's very important, as the keynote speaker talked about, building on your network. That alone, you know, is something that stimulates me into getting into different areas. But then also remember, you must know yourself. Listen, this journey of entrepreneurship that all of us, all four of us are talking about is not for the faint-hearted. If you can't do it, nobody, I will not, you know, sugarcoat it and tell you it's for everyone. Not everybody can do it. So, you know, you should know yourself. If you can't, it's okay to do your 9-to-5 job, you know, and work on and go into fellowship and all of that. That's a brilliant idea. But if you can, if you don't do it, you'll regret, because it's fun. I love what I do. I love that I meet people of different regions and everything. But also look up to people who have done it and have succeeded. Success here, determine it yourself. You know, some people define success as somebody, you know, a slave queen or something, and they think the person is successful. Of course, not to us. But you need to find people, let people mentor you physically and virtually. You can see someone, and now with social media and all of that, you can follow individuals, you know, and read their quotes and see how they do their stuff and all of that and learn. We should be open to learn, you know, as young women stepping out there, and not fear. At the same time, what is important, and let me stress on the network then, you know, whom you know, for me is very biblical, because even if you don't know Jesus, you can't go to heaven. So this idea of in Ghana, you do whom you know and whom you don't know. I believe that if you have the skills and the capability to deliver any services, and your friend or someone you know knows you, you are the first person who comes to mind when there's a job opportunity. They will tell you about it. That doesn't mean they are giving it to you. You go there and show your skills and whatever it is, and then you get it. So whom you know is biblical. We have to leverage on that, working on network, and not fear to invest in ourselves. Please, when you have to pay to learn something, don't waste time. Do it, but also grow at your own pace. It is okay to move, take one step at a time, and get to move from Cape Coast to Accra, than to be on a motorbike speeding and crash at Winnipeg Junction. So know all of these things, and get things right. Again, as a young pharmacist now, it is important that you have some IT skills. Everybody in every industry, you know, now, especially when COVID came, selling whatever it is online, using your social media handles, your website, and all of that is key. I don't know how you'll be able to do that, you know, if you're not in online and doing all of these things. And it's very easy. They look very abstract and like as if it's for the young people who can do it. If you get the right person, and if any of you need this, you can reach out to me. If you get the right person to teach you, you know, you owe it. Like the last speaker said, some of these things, yes, you can outsource it to people and all of that. But remember, when that person is not there, how are you going to? It's because it's an integral part of your job. When you outsource something to a third person, remember behind, you know, the scenes, you are not handling it. People will not know. Like Abna was saying about her backdrop, she, you know, people will outsource it to her for her to do. And it's a signature, and people will do that because even in the same industry, they know she can do it better. So, you know, learn to pick out people who can help you virtually or in person, and be ready to pay if they have to charge you. Sometimes, you know, we leverage, we want things for free. It doesn't always work like that. People can do things for free, but when you have to pay something, investing in yourself and investing on behalf of your business, you know, build a good team around your business, and I think that you'll be able to achieve it. And above all, there's always that grace factor. Never leave that out. God factor, grace factor, Allah factor, whatever it is. Listen, in short, man proposes, now God proposes. We can have all the best dreams in this world. It takes life, which money cannot buy. It takes good health, which money cannot buy. Favor and the connection. Some people know more people, but you know, the should I call it favor or whatever for people to even accept them for who they are and connect them to the right, you know, contact is also a problem. So for me personally, I'll speak on that. That don't ever forget that grace factor. Hold on to the God you believe in and work hard and smart, not just hard. If working hard alone is enough, you know, the people who go to Agogloshi at midnight to go and carry the onions and yam, they are working hard, but they are not the most comfortable as in terms of money and all of that of all people. No, you must work hard, but work smart. It's very important. If you want to fill a barrel of water, you decide to use a teaspoon or a small cup of water to fetch from the tap and fill the barrel. Yes, it could take you a whole week to fill the barrel. If somebody uses a water hose, the person will fill it in minutes. You all fill the barrel, but the one with the water hose works harder and smarter. That's the key here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Clara, for that insightful conclusion. So on behalf of the Lapag executives, Lapag members, and the PSGH, I would like to thank Farm Patience Chega and Farm Abuna Edu, as well as Farm Esther, and Farm Clara as well, who joined us online for these insightful discussions that we had on how to go out on other businesses aside our pharmacy training that we've had. And I think this discussion has been very insightful, educative, as well as motivating, because as pharmacists, we shouldn't always think that it's just the professional work we can do. There are other businesses we can invest in that will bring us extra income. On that note, I would like to thank you very much for hosting our invitation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, panelists. That was very insightful motivation. Let's do it better for them. We learned a lot as young pharmacists, even the older ones. So on that note, we'll take 2 AOBs, any other business, any questions, comments we have for the panelists. You can just put up your hands, short one. 2 questions, 2 AOBs, then we wrap up the session. Okay, so I don't see any hands up. So we'll now invite the chair for Lapag in the person of Farm Lucia Adai to give her closing remarks. Let's give it up for her.
Oh, please clap for me. I like fans. Oh, thank you all so much. I mean, I think you should clap for yourselves. I mean, you've done fantastic. It's not easy putting programs like this together. I'm happy that we've done this and we've done it together. The feedback has been taken. It's been amazing. Thank you so much. I will not do vote of thanks because Nana will do that and thank everybody. Everybody on the panel. Madame Klatura, thank you so much for the time spent with us, even though your son is not too well. I mean, Nana will do the vote, so I won't do vote of thanks. But I think for closing remarks, I want to state that it's been a good program. Auntie Martha, thank you so much. You should know yourself. It's very important. And I think that even though we are rushing, to close, we'll keep the conversation going on the platforms. And one of the things that I have learned over the years is that don't be afraid to approach senior colleagues to mentor you and help you. They'll teach you so much. There's so much Auntie Martha has taught me in advocacy and things like that. I remember I went for a meeting and somebody was saying, oh, this girl, she's more like an advocate. She's not an aluta person, And I'll say, you have no idea. On a dangerous day, you can see me doing my aluta. But you learn as you grow. You learn how to speak on certain issues, how to engage, how to, get the buy-in of people before you go for meetings and all that. And it's key. Another thing that I also learned is that you shouldn't be afraid to change your mentor. Because when I was out of school, I did a bit of hospital. I realized I wasn't enjoying it. At the time, I had a senior colleague who was coaching me. I left, went to community to manage a pharmacy. I had somebody else who was helping me. The person was like, what do you want to do? Are you sure you want to work in community? When I didn't own it, I didn't really enjoy it. I left, I went to Reppin. Reppin, I had another person, I had other people who were mentoring me, tell me that, okay, if you want to be, let's say, a product manager, this is what you need to do. You need to put yourself out there more, work harder, make yourself a brand, so that anytime somebody comes around to say, oh, I need a rep or somebody, oh, you don't know Lucia, call her. And then, so there were times that I get jobs that I'm there, and then I think 2 years, I'm tired, I want to do something, because I get bored easily. Then somebody will call me and say, oh, we are looking for somebody for this role. And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. My CV is already prepared, so I'm coming for the job. And that's how I moved, through the ranks. So don't be afraid to speak to senior colleagues. Learn, know yourself, put yourself out there. There's no shortcut, like Mrs. Shega said. Mrs. Shega, please, I'm coming. I'm going into retail chain, so I'm coming to see you very soon. And so put yourself out there. Go and see senior colleagues. Let them tell you certain things that you need to learn. Because if you are not reading or going through the long route of learning things on your own to gain experience, then speaking or engaging with senior older people who are wiser will help you to go further and not make mistakes. There's so much I've learned from the panel. I have tried Deco, I failed because I didn't have time, So, you have to know yourself. You make mistakes, you will learn. You'll be lucky to get a partner who will help you fail at salt. My father has a salt industry, huge one. We cannot manage it. Thousands of acres, we can't manage it. But you would learn, you make mistakes, you look back and see what you can do to improve yourself, so that 30 years from now, you look back and you'll be proud that you did the best that you can. Okay, to finally close, the EcoBank program that we are working on it becoming a project where we can identify lady pharmacists who want to do, let's say, pharmacy or any other thing. And then Lapag would create the bridge so that they get the necessary finance and support to be able to create their business. You should be clapping. So if you want to get a pharmacy, you speak to us, we engage you with the EcoBank, and then we help you. Even if you don't have the necessary collaterals, we'll be able to, let's say, guarantee in a way, look at your cash flows, help you to set up, the person is also working on how to help you get your approvals earlier, so that you can set up your own business. It can be pharma or non-pharma. But the whole idea is that if you are versatile, then whatever it is, you can do what you want to do in bits. If you want to set up a retail, it takes a bit of money. If you're a young pharmacist, maybe 200,000 Ghana cedis, because the shop now, double shop, maybe 40, 50 or 80,000. You need to stock shelves, maybe you are the pharmacist, so you don't pay for a pharmacist and all of that. But the point is that to be able to get 100,000 or 200,000, you may have to do other things to be able to get the amount of money. So it's important that you develop your other passions, the low-hanging fruits, work hard and build the capital so that you can do what you essentially want to do in future. Also, we have a dinner coming up, so we'll be coming to see our mothers. The companies will be coming. We are looking at a dinner, a ping ball in November to mark our 29th anniversary. Please clap for us, 29th anniversary. The team is looking at raising money to support menstrual hygiene so that we'll be able to get some fund and then that fund would invest, and then the proceeds, we'll use it every year to support menstrual hygiene. So that every year we don't come to you and say, oh, give us 1 cedi, 2 cedi, 5 cedi, 10 cedi, then we go and donate it, then we come back next year, that kind of thing. But we'll be able to have a sizable amount of money, invest it, and then the proceeds from that, we'll be able to use it to support young girls so that they don't come and spoil our homes by being slave queens in future. Get HIV, get married, God forbid, marry our children, and all the other things that we don't want. Thank you so much. Let's close. This is Nana. This was the honest. Both of us.
Thank you very much, Lady Pharmacist Lucia. I die in tree. I think it's been good 2 hours. I know we have just about 30 minutes to get ready for the dinner. But I would want to thank Farm Esther Hayford, Z Got Yogurt Brand, Farm Lady Pharmacist Abena Edu, Anything Exclusive, and Lady Pharmacist Mrs. Patience Chega, Unicom, I think it's Unicom Chemist, right? Yes, Unicom Chemist. And not forgetting Clara Pinker, Sam Platurao. Thank you so much for joining us online. Thank you very much, our mommy and our keynote speaker, Lady Pharmacist, Dr. Mrs. Martha Jansalutriot. And thank you for all of us and to all of us for making Lapag and the wonderful ideas that our Lapag executives for the year have been able to do, and for gracing and staying with us as we continue to deliberate. I think one of the things we should aim for coming next year, when we come again next year, is that today we have all learned, and then we have nuggets, that networking is key, collaboration is key. Let us have technical know-how so that we can become the versatile lady pharmacist. Like I always say, pharmacy is just the basis, but then it helps you to grow, and then you can branch off. So thank you very much. I look forward to seeing everybody at the dinner at Radash. As women, unfortunately, I'm sorry, I apologize. Some of us couldn't have the beauty sleep that we needed before the dinner, but I definitely know that we will look good at the dinner. And so thank you very much for attending this year's AGM, and hopefully we will see you at the dinner. Thank you.
Thank you. So on that note, we've come to the end of a wonderful session. We would invite...
Take a picture. The photographer first.
We'll take a picture, so let's not leave. We'll take a picture over here at the front. So let's just come with our bags. No, sorry. Okay. So Farm Susan, Edouard Mankwa will give us the closing prayer, then we take the picture.
Okay. We pray in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, we thank you for this time. We thank you for the knowledge that we have received. We ask us, as we have learned, we will go out there and conquer the world as you want us to do as your children. We thank you in Jesus' name, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. You guys have